Madison Gesiotto is a Trump supporter, and she writes a column in the Washington Times newspaper and was Miss Ohio USA in 2014 and a Miss USA finalist. She joins us from the state capital of Ohio, Columbus. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. First of all, let's start with an obvious one. Why do you support Donald Trump?
You know, not only did I have wonderful personal experiences meeting Donald Trump at both the Miss USA pageant as well as after, but the future of our country is at stake. The future of conservatism is at stake here in the United States. And I think Donald Trump is ready to not only nominate Supreme Court justices that will protect the Second and First Amendments, but he will also make sure that our Justice Department is continuing to move in a positive direction. And he's going to implement economic and foreign policies that are going to promote the welfare of all Americans, which is not what we've seen for the past 8 years under President Obama.
But let me just read some words to you. Fat, pig, dog, slob, disgusting animal. Those are all words he's used about women.
You know, I mean, it's going back to this, what people like to claim is a controversy this week. I don't think this is a controversy at all. We have a woman with a criminal history claiming that Donald Trump called her a mean name 20 years ago. The reality is, yes, this has dominated the news cycle all week, but what I think this is ultimately going to bring attention to is the fact that Donald Trump has been a champion for women for decades. He's put women in positions of power before it was politically expedient and popular to do so. And this is something he'll continue to do and make sure that women receive equal pay for equal work. He'll bring down regulations and change the fact that women are making 77 cents to every dollar that men make now in the United States.
So you believe he's actually a good thing for women's causes?
Absolutely. I've always believed that Donald Trump would be the president to change things for women. And I think a lot of the things with Ms. Machado have been taken out of context. Like I said, she does have a criminal history. And even in the tweet that he's been criticized for about calling attention to her sex tape, that's exactly what she had. I mean, she had sex on tape. That is a sex tape. I think the New York Times called it a risque scene. No, it's a sex tape. And he's just bringing attention to the truth.
There will be, I mean, there's a whole list of other things that I could mention that he's described. He has to win the vote of millions of American women. Do you seriously think that somebody that uses all that language will achieve that?
You know what? Mean names and language that some people maybe don't like is not going to kill Americans. But the reality is that Hillary Clinton, her decisions have killed Americans. We look at the 4 Americans left dead in Benghazi. We look at so many young women in Nigeria that were kidnapped by Boko Haram, sometimes sold into sex slavery or turned into suicide bombers. That simply could have been prevented in a lot of instances if Hillary Clinton, under her State Department, would have been willing to put Boko Haram on the official terrorism list. And this is something she wasn't willing to do. So she has not been a supporter of women, and I think Donald Trump has. And like I said, we can look at that back to 20, 30 years ago before he was ever in the public light as a politician.
Some will have looked at the first televised debate and thought that perhaps Donald Trump was found out a bit.
You know, I think Donald Trump did a very good job in the debate, and I think what was most important about his performance on Monday is that he attracted undecided voters. A lot of people that are attracted to Donald Trump's, unconventional debate style expected him to attack Hillary and engage in personal attacks. He did the exact opposite, which is why a lot of the undecided voters I've spoken to this week are now voting for him. The only person that was engaging in those personal attacks repeatedly on Monday was Hillary, and this was not what people expected and a pleasant surprise for many.
Well, Madison Gesiotto, thank you very much. We ought to make clear, of course, that the beauty queen who was talking about has not been labelled a criminal. That is merely an allegation that's been made. But we appreciate your time. Thank you.
But she actually threatened to kill a judge and was accused of driving a getaway car in a murder. That is a criminal.
All right. Well, as I believe it, they are allegations. But thank you very much. Stay with us here on BBC.